Yes, welcome everyone. Cannabis News, I'm your host, Joe Clare. It's January 30th, 2020. The show, as always, presented by the Marijuana Times. Find us at marijuanatimes.org. A lot of great articles there. Click the video link to find this show as well, marijuanatimes.org. Today, talking about marijuana use and the supposed lowering of IQ points, or the lessening of IQ points, the losing of IQ points, if you will. Also, recreational sales a month in Illinois, and marijuana is going to become a sponsor to a Detroit soccer team. All of that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by NatureSide, nature-side.com, and their organic all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free with NatureSide. Don't use harmful chemicals or banned pesticides. Use NatureSide for many, many reasons, including the fact they're an awesome sponsor of Cannabis News and have been since the beginning. But many more reasons as well. The main reason you don't want to put harmful chemicals on what you are growing, use NatureSide, nature-side.com. This first story by yours truly at marijuanatimes.org. There is no proof that marijuana use lowers IQ. There seems to be a growing perception, and there's no way I can quantify this. There's no number I can put on it. It's just something that I notice as someone who follows cannabis news every day through a lot of mainstream press outlets. There seems to be a growing sense among the mainstream press, and maybe people who use the mainstream press as their main source of news, which I wouldn't recommend, but some people do that still. Anyway, there seems to be this growing perception that early adolescent marijuana use definitely leads to lower IQ later in life. There's a perception that that's just settled. We've figured that out. Scientists know that. They all agree. We're going with that, and we're moving on to how we fix it because we've identified this problem, and now we need to move forward to solutions. The problem is there's no proof at all that marijuana use lowers IQ, no matter when in life that use is. Now, this perception, as I point out in the article, comes mainly from one study. And I've mentioned many, many times, you've probably heard it many times if you follow cannabis news, the 2012 New Zealand study with Duke researchers, New Zealand researchers, and others that claim that a loss of up to 8 IQ points and poorer cognitive performance in adulthood for those adolescents who use marijuana early. Now, there's been a lot of problems with this study. It's been contradicted even in the very periodical that published it. There was research after that. Researchers came out and questioned the methodology of it. There's been other studies that just straight out contradict the findings of this study. It's been criticized and questioned, and somehow it's become the go-to for mainstream press who take it out of context. They don't put any other context. They don't mention the fact that it's been questioned or criticized, or the other studies contradict the methodology, the results of this study. The mainstream press that talk about this particular study, they don't mention any other studies, they don't mention any of that. They just mention this one and what its results were, and they act like, well, that's just it. There's one study that was poorly done 7 years ago in New Zealand is the basis for every claim that marijuana use lowers IQ. And I understand it feeds into the stereotype of the stupid, lazy stoner who, doesn't know anything and just sits on the couch all day, has never made anything in their life, et cetera, et cetera. It's easy to believe. The problem is, it's not a thing. It's not an actual thing. Now, I have some people out there saying, well, you saying kids smoke marijuana? No. I'm saying stop being so hysterical about everything. Oh, it would lead to psychosis and mental illness and this and that. With no proof and cherry-picked studies. It's garbage. It's garbage. The New Zealand study is garbage. And yet I see it still to this day all the time. At least a couple times a month, I will see that study referenced. Without reference to all the other things that I mentioned in my article, the contradictions, the questioning, the criticizing, none of that. None of that's included by them. It's included by me because, I do my job. I actually cover cannabis news. I'm not just some beat reporter who knows nothing about cannabis that the front desk said, you got to go cover this because it's big now. We got nobody else to do it. I actually know what's going on in the community, and I keep track of it, and I talk about it on a daily basis, 5 days a week here on Cannabis News. The next story from FoxIllinois.com. Recreational marijuana sales still booming after 1 month. There's still some shortages, long lines, supply problems, as predicted by many, myself included, in Illinois. Is something that will continue as well. One of my favorite parts of this article, they talk about, hopefully production will be ramped up. They say best in speculation. People are growing. I think we're going to start seeing some produce from the build-outs in Mars, probably full production around June. This is according to the manager of New Med Dispensary in Urbana, Sean Johnson. And they talked to the first customer of New Med, and Lynette Hancock says she wishes more flower was available at the dispensary. A reasonable request, let's say. Here's what she had to say. It's a little bit disappointing just because of that fact that I don't live here. I came from out of town. You know, if there isn't enough, maybe someone can grow some more. Well, say what you want about this woman. She does have a rather firm grasp of the situation and what's going on. They do need to grow more. And so, again, I know a lot of you get tired of me hearing me say this, but it's a matter of government. If the government wasn't in the way, there'd be a lot of people out there growing marijuana and selling it, and there wouldn't be a supply problem. There wouldn't be any problems whatsoever with not enough flour or not enough anything. If people were left to produce and create what they need to create and what they need to do and grow what they need to grow, there wouldn't be any of these problems. But of course, Illinois growers have to go through all kinds of different licensing and fees and all that. And as a result, when these recreational marijuana programs come online, or when legalization is enacted and people can actually start buying legal adult use marijuana, then, well, there's a problem because there's not enough of it, because they weren't allowed to grow enough of it in the run-up. And here we are. It is what it is. MLive.com is where this next story comes from. We moved from Illinois over to Michigan. Marijuana to join beer as Detroit City FC soccer sponsor. There's a correction to this story. Pleasantries is joining and not replacing any sponsors, and only practice jerseys will include the new sponsor's name, according to team spokesman Lindsey Pearson. The marijuana company is joining a beer company as the sponsor of Detroit's popular soccer team, Detroit City Football Club's Les Rogues. They announced on Thursday, January 30th. That's quite the name. I'm not. Spoiler alert and disclaimer: I'm not a soccer expert. I know absolutely nothing about professional top level soccer, much less the lower levels. The 2-year partnership with Pleasantries, described as the company committed to cultivating the highest quality cannabis, includes naming rights as Detroit City's FC's indoor practice field at 3401 East Lafayette Street in Detroit. Practice jerseys will also include the marijuana's company name, said team CEO Sean Mann. While a full list of sponsors for the team's inaugural professional season is forthcoming, Mann said Fago will also be the team's official pop. So they really have all the bases covered. A partnership, I don't know why Fago's funny. I think it's because it's Insane Clown Posse's favorite drink. I think that's why it strikes me as funny. A partnership with DCFC was a natural fit since our mission at Pleasantries to help people enjoy more of life's pleasures. This is according to Pleasantries CEO Randall Buckman. DCFC has been building community and positive spirits for 10 years, and we are honored to be part of this club's future as they continue to reach new heights. Mann said the team's wide demographic that includes educated 20 to 30-somethings with disposable incomes at its core makes the fan base a good target market for the marijuana company. The team also has apparently rabid fans called the Northern Guard. They're known for their catchy choreographed chants and igniting colorful smoke grenades at the games. So that's pretty interesting. Mann said there are no concerns that a marijuana company is sponsoring the family-friendly team. It also operates youth soccer leagues in Detroit. We've had a good number of beer and alcohol sponsors in the past, he said. Stroh Beer Company and Brew Detroit are also among Detroit City FC sponsors. So there you go. Pleasantries in Michigan, they're sponsoring a soccer team. It's something that's, I can't say for sure this never happened before, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Again, I'm not a soccer expert. I don't know that aspect of marijuana marketing, the soccer market. Maybe it's going to start a trend. I don't know. If it does, we'll continue to talk about it here. If it doesn't, well, I guess I'll never mention it again because we talk about cannabis news here 5 days a week. On the Marijuana Times, marijuanatimes.org, Marijuana Times on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Vimeo, all of that. Thanks for watching and listening, and continue to spread the truth about cannabis with this show, liking, sharing, all the good stuff that you do with the videos and such, sharing on social media, all that. Thanks for watching and listening today. And we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.